Hello, my name is Marina Franco. I'm with the Houston Recovery Center. Today we're going to be interviewing Major Mike Lee. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Can you please tell me a little bit about your background in law enforcement?
Yes, I became a police officer in 1989. I joined the Houston Police Department back then. I spent 27 years with the Houston Police Department. I retired after 27 years as the rank of a captain. I was the captain over the West Side Patrol Division during my tenure at HPD. I was a patrol officer for many years in central part of Houston, northeast Houston, near North Side, 5th Ward areas, East Houston, West Side. I was the captain over the airport division, and I spent about 7 years as a lieutenant over the mental health unit, which is now the mental health division at the Houston Police Department. For the last 20 months, after I retired from the Houston Police Department, Sheriff Gonzalez, he won the election and became the new sheriff of Harris County. He asked me to join his command staff, and so 20 months ago I joined Sheriff Gonzalez over here, and I'm the major over the first ever Mental Health and Jail Diversion Bureau. So in the Mental Health and Jail Diversion Bureau, I oversee the department's holistic approach to mental health issues on the patrol side of the department and on the criminal justice or correction side. So on the patrol side, we have our crisis intervention response teams, which are our co-responders, where we have our deputies partnered up with mental health clinicians that respond to crisis calls throughout the city. We have our homeless outreach team, which those officers are out there doing, working with the homeless organizations and doing homeless outreach on the streets. We have our mental health training unit that does the mental health training for our department, for our deputies. On the correction side, we have a 392-bed mental health hospital in our jail. We have over 100 staff from the Harris Center for Mental Health and IDD. That's our vendor that provides the mental health services in our jail. And in addition to that, I have the inmate education program, our reentry program, our chaplaincy program, oversees special projects. And an example of special projects is we just recently opened the new Judge Ed Emmett Harris County Mental Health Diversion Center over on Dennis Street, which is the first for our county and we believe the first of its kind in the nation. So that's some of the things I do here at the Sheriff's Office.
That's impressive, to say the least. Can you tell me about the new Vivitrol project?
The Vivitrol project, we're quickly approaching our 1 year mark. We call it a pilot right now. The Vivitrol is actually a non-narcotic that treats persons with opioid addiction and alcohol addiction, and it's a long-acting injectable. When I say long-acting or long-term acting, it's 30 days. So the person gets an injection, and it's good up to 30 days before they receive their second injection. So we started that program here in our jail because we know, like many jails around the country, we have a lot of inmates that are addicted to opioids or alcohol. And so we wanted to see what we can do to provide some type of medical assisted treatment, which we've never done before in our Harris County Jail. So this is a first for us. We're actually the largest jail in the nation to try Vivitrol. And so we're very pleased with the results that we're seeing with it so far.
And how would you assess the project's performance?
Actually, I received an update last night, and I was actually wowed by the results. It's been phenomenal. We've had, in about 10 months, we've screened 80 inmates that we believed were eligible for the Vivitrol injection. Out of that 80, we have 63 that did receive the injection and have been on the program. And so they received their first injection. They have now moved out into the community and received their follow-up care with the Houston Recovery Center and the Texas Clinic. And out of the 63, we've only had 1 out of 63 return back to jail, and that person didn't return back to jail for substance abuse. So we haven't had one person on the program relapse on drugs or alcohol.
Wow, like the news just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
So what do you think the future of this project will be?
I think it's going to be, first of all, I think the pilot will be deemed a phenomenal success here. We have all the stakeholders meeting next month to plan the next phase, which it'll move from a pilot to a permanent program. With that, we're looking at the funding issue. Our partner, the maker of Vivitrol is Alkermes, which is a pharmaceutical company. They've been a phenomenal partner. They have allowed us to do this 1-year-long pilot at no charge. Vivitrol is a very, very expensive, I want to call it drug. It's not actually a drug. It's not controlled by the DEA because it's non-habit forming and non-addictive. But this medication that's provided by Alkermes, it runs about $1,500 per injection. Studies show that most people need a minimum of 3 injections before they are off or have beaten their addiction. So it's very costly. We have resources that I believe are going to help us make it a permanent program.
How can the Houston Recovery Center support this initiative?
Well, the Houston Recovery Center has been a phenomenal partner so far, and I can tell you, it's some of the things, having Alkermes provide the medication for free has been obviously a godsend, and then the work of the staff in the jail. But it's the little things that make, honestly, it's the things after the shot. When the person's released back to the community, that's the key to our success. I can tell you that. And that's where Houston Recovery Center has played a tremendous role. And sometimes it's simple things like transportation. Because so many of our people we release from the jail, the simple fact that, it's easy to give them the shot while they're here in the jail because they're basically a captive audience. We know where they're at. We know what time, where they're going to be. When we release them at the jail door, that's when you put them back on the community. A lot of these people don't have resources. They don't have a car. It's hard to navigate the transit system. So that's where Houston Recovery Center has stepped up and transported these individuals to their appointments to the Texas clinic to make sure they get their next injection, because without that next injection, it's just going to be a wasted effort. And that, when we looked at the data I was looking at last night, that was the key. It was the aftercare, and that's the role I see Houston Recovery Center playing from that and data collection. They've been phenomenal in helping us keep data, and I know the Recovery Center has been very good at that from day one. So I see them being a big partner with the permanent project.
Oh, that's great. That's great to hear. Do you have any additional comments for us?
I would just say, keep up the great work. I've been in law enforcement now 29 years, and I do tell people I've worked on a number of projects during that time. But the Houston Recovery Center, out of all the projects I've done during my 29-year law enforcement career, it is my favorite project. I'm most proud of that project. I've worked on diversion centers for persons with mental health issues, which are very important. But the phenomenal success that we've had by reducing the jail population for persons that are publicly intoxicated, over 95% of those people do not go to jail anymore. They go to your recovery center, which is phenomenal. It really is. And so I encourage you and your team to keep up the great work and to get out there and get your story told, because there was a great story there.
Thank you so much for taking time out to talk to us.
Well, thank you for having me.